lifestyle. Can you get this information if you asked him about, I don't know, buttons and screens? You can't. You have to ask him about his lifestyle. You ask him what's important to him. Yeah? How does he spend his day? Shadow him, and so forth. Yeah? Maybe for you, you want to feel connected to your students. 24 hours, not me. Yeah? And therefore, what's that I can do? And so forth. Okay? So now, based on the interviews that you have done, can you come up with something here? Okay? Right. I give you 3 minutes. Yeah. Next one to be done individually is for you to draw at least 3 different ideas of a new device that meets your user's needs statement. Okay, so we go back. If this is to connect with her daughter anytime, anywhere, then I will come up with 3 devices that will allow me to do that. Okay? So that's how we do it. So come up with individually, identify the need statement, and then come up with 3 different sketches of your ideas for your user. And while we're doing that, you can have your tea break. Okay, while you're doing that. So come back at about 11:15, 11:15. Okay, and it is an iteration process. This whole process is an iteration process. You go back. Sometimes we do not get the insights, the good insights after the first round of empathy study. We go back and we study it. We go and interview, we go and shadow, we go and talk to other people. Sometimes not the person itself, but to people around that person. For example, our students did a project on Alzheimer disease, Alzheimer patients that have Alzheimer. And you can't talk to that patient because they can't remember much. So you talk to the caregiver, you talk to the doctor, you talk to the nurse that looks after them. Yeah, and you get the insights from these people. Yeah, so it is an iteration. But you go back and go back. Okay? Now, let me ask this question. Is this different from your traditional approach to problem solving, to generating new ideas? Is this different? Is the way that you've just done, the way that I've explained, of user empathy, understanding your user, drawing insights, and the needs statement, that's the second step. Then from that needs statement, you ideate, you generate ideas. After you generate ideas, you draw it out, you prototype it, and you share it with your user to get their comments and their feedback before you go into the final implementation. Is that different from what you normally do? Can I have some feedback for this? Yeah.
How does that difference make a difference to you? Is that something significant to you?
Yeah,
I totally agree. Many times we look at it from the technology. We forget the user. And we come up with something the user says, I don't want. I was telling them just now, our students came out with this idea, hey, elderly. Singapore has many elderly. Okay? Our proportion of elderly is growing more and more each year. I'm considered elderly, by the way. No. Anyway, so elderly, and you know, when the students went to the elderly, we'll make bigger buttons for you, and bigger screens with bigger fonts. The elderly say, we don't want. We don't want to be seen as elderly. Yeah, we don't want to be known as elderly. We don't want that. Big buttons and bigger fonts and bigger screens. They want to still be seen as young. Of course, there's a whole spectrum, what we call personas of elderly. One at the other end who is practical and say, yes, I want bigger buttons, I want bigger screens. But on the other end are those who are young elderly, who say, I don't want to look like an elderly. In fact, my children tell me, Mommy, don't buy iPhone. I say, why? Oh, because you know the old uncle in the market, he also has an iPhone. Don't buy that. You look like him. Okay, you know, and so forth. So there are what we call personas. And therefore, when we study them, we recognize and we draw out these personas, and then we say, okay, for this group of people, we need to have something different from this group, a different solution for this group and this group. Coming back, we also do this same process in studying our students in terms of motivation. So we have high achievers, low achievers, one continuum, highly motivated, unmotivated, another continuum. So if I'm a high achiever, highly motivated student, well, we say, no problem, leave them alone. Whatever you give them, they will succeed. High achiever, but low motivation. This group we need to take care of. They are very good students, but not motivated. What can we do to engage them? Okay, then of course you have the low achievers, unmotivated. What do you do with this group? Right? Yeah, or low achievers, highly motivated. This group is another group that is important. They're highly motivated, but somehow they're not achieving. What solutions can we give them? What programs can we give them? So we do, in our in our polytechnic, also do draw this continuum and say, okay, there are different personas in our students as well, among our students. And each group, what sort of solutions do we need to motivate them, to make them successful? Okay, now I'm going to show you how we implement it, how we implement design thinking in SP. Okay, how we implement design thinking in SP. We talk about our first-year students coming to us, and our students are not motivated, you know, and we're trying to enhance their motivation, getting them more engaged, getting them more critically, think more critically. One thing I forgot to talk about is this, that besides getting them motivated, engaged, critical thinkers, we want to also get them to be engineering innovators with a cause, who know that I'm doing engineering for a purpose and I can contribute with my knowledge and skills in engineering to society. Okay, so with a cause. So this is and what we're trying to do now is that besides to do hands-on, that's where we give them both theory and practice, and we give them all the design build experiences. To be innovative, and that's where we bring in design thinking. We want all them to be able to serve, okay, in a purposeful manner, serve the society. Okay, and with that, we introduce social innovation. So we have CDIO as our key framework, design thinking to strengthen the C and the D part, so they become innovators, think innovatively, and we embed this all in the context of social innovation, so that they will know that I can do all this to serve the society. Okay, let's move on. So this is our design thinking framework. This is one of the what we call multidisciplinary projects that we did on social innovation, and they were students were studying the lifestyles of Singaporeans above 50 years old. Okay, many Singaporeans are above 50 years old. We are studying the lifestyle, And questions they ask, how do you live your lives? What's your daily activities? What problems, obstacles do you face? So the students went through interviews, observed the 50-year-old people, we call a group in, did videos, followed them, take videos of their life, what they did, etc. And they came up with this montage of what is the life of a 50-year-old. Okay? Even went to the homes of the 50-year-old, and there was this home of this lady, I'll tell you the story. So after they did that, they drew out the needs, and they start to ideate, and we use a tool called POEMS. POEMS stands for people, objects, environment, media and services, object, media. So they use this tool to help them to categorize the data that they collect from their observations and their interviews. And then they drew, this is what we call a journey map, okay, of a lifestyle of an old age, or someone with old age. And these are some of the ideas that they came up with. They prototype using cardboard, plastic, whatever, paper cups, whatever. And then they had to present. This is a panel of designers and, is this Jessica? No, this is not Jessica, someone else, so designers. Okay, so these are all the posters they did to explain how they came about, what the insights, what their findings, and so forth. It is, I don't think so, no. Jessica, corner, oh, no? On my left. Left, this one? This one? Oh, is it her? No lah, it is her, okay. Okay, final concept they came up with, this. Now, how did they come to this concept? When they went to this elderly lady's home, this elderly lady showed them around her house and insisted that they went to her kitchen because she said, I spend a lot of time in my kitchen. And she opened the kitchen, the fridge, and she said, I want to show you what's in my fridge. So up came all her pills, her medicine, and all her food stuff and so forth, okay? And she also went down and pulled out all her vegetables and her fruits. And they noticed that when she stand up, she said, wow, very tired, you know, knee pain, leg pain, back pain, and so forth. Yeah, elderly, right? So with that, they said, instead of a vertical fridge, which we all know, why not we have a horizontal fridge for this elderly? Okay, and therefore, let me go show it, tell the elderly, look, this is our concept of a fridge for you. Something that, you know, easy for you to retrieve and put things in. Do you think the elderly will like this? Yeah, they liked it. Okay, so this is a concept that they came out with based on their study of the elderly person, observing them, interviewing them, following them to their homes, seeing what they are like, their lifestyle, the way they live, the people around them. Okay? The other thing that we are doing also is what we call the Learning Express. It came up with an idea because we felt that across our Asia, we all share certain common areas like environment, concern for the environment, aging population, Japan and ourselves for sure, healthcare, water, sustainable agriculture, and so forth. And we felt that, you know, we together, our students, together with students from Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, China, can come together. Together, we could look at what are local environmental and social problems, co-create these solutions with the local community, with local technology, design and prototype. So this is something that as a community in Asia, we felt that we can work together, especially tapping into the CDIO network. So we felt that this is opportunities for students to apply their creativity and to develop technologies and sustainable solutions together as a community, an Asian community. So last year, we actually took 50 students from 8 nations in Asia, Indonesia, Philippines, we got some Thai students as well, Malaysian students, Vietnam students, China students, 8 nations together with Singaporeans. And we took them a trip to Malaysia. And in Malaysia, they did design thinking for 2 villages in Malaysia, came up with some solutions, presented to the villagers and so forth. And then we took a plane from Malaysia to Bangkok, and we spent a week there, a week in 5 villages, in the north of, in Buriram, at Michai Patana School, Bamboo School. Okay, so we went to 5 villages, and the students did empathy studies, talking to the villagers, understanding their lifestyle, or making notes, observations. Then they start to cluster. This is very much part of design thinking. Write down what they observe and start to cluster what they observe in terms of what the people are telling them, and trying to identify needs. Then they start to ideate and start to build low-res prototypes to communicate their ideas. Preparing visuals so they can share with the community and get their feedback. So here they're rehearsing. This girl is from King Mongkut University of North Bangkok, King Mongkut University of Technology, North Bangkok. About 5 of their students joined us on the trip. Yeah? So, and then here they are presenting to the villagers and getting the feedback from the villagers. Yeah? So villagers telling them what they like about the idea and so forth. And here they're sharing with the village, the Michai Foundation leaders. Yeah. So these are some of the solutions they came up with. So these are what we call bottom of the pyramid solutions. So here they have, using the PET bottles, they're coming up with a water filter, using PET bottles and using charcoal made from local rice husks. Okay, so the community they went to didn't have good water. They were collecting water. They had wells, but interestingly, the wells gave them very good water when it was at 5 meters. Then someone came along and said, hey, why don't we dig deeper? Then we get more water. When they dug to 10 meters, they found that the water turned salty, and they couldn't use the water at all. Okay, so now they're trying to draw the water from a pond nearby. Okay, but they need to filter the water first before it goes to the house. So these are the device that the students came up with, the idea that they shared, and the villagers said, yeah, let's do it. So we are getting sponsors now, currently, working to get sponsors to, we are developing this in SP, but the sponsors are coming to fly our students here to install it. So this is one village. Second village, we looked at rice crackers. Yeah, so they have their own production, but we brought in our own lecturers who are involved in food production and innovation to look at different flavors, different processes that they could use, and even different rice products that they can come up with. And the idea is to increase the household income. This is interesting. The villagers were weaving out of reed mats. And so they said, what else can we do? And we had a design student with us, fashion design student on top of that. And he sat down and he started to create passport holders, bags that they could actually do, and taught the villagers how to do it. And the business students came up with this, a brand for this, a brand name, Weave Love, they call it, Weave Love. Okay, so it's something that the households can do during the dry season, and the idea is to bring this to the market from rural to the cities. So the business students came in to look at this, okay, at the business part. And then they were, part of the reason why the water they felt was being contaminated was because of a high usage of chemical fertilizers. So now we're trying to say, why, instead of chemical fertilizers, why don't you use organic fertilizers? Okay, and showing them the process and what they need to do, and also telling them, you know, if you produce enough, let's change it to pellet form and then you can commercialize it. Okay, so these are the kind of social innovation projects that came about by first understanding the villagers' lifestyle, what they do, their needs, and so forth, and then moving them into, okay, perhaps these are some